気配は感じなかった。
おいおいおいおい。
全員お強い。
You, it's your man MAS. I'm back with another one. All right, here I am, more anime reviews. Just hearing my input on different animes. I watched the old ones, the new ones, the ones that aren't as popular and are like cringeworthy. I love anime, manga, so I'm all about that. All right, so more on the trending anime that's been happening. So this one I'm kind of happy about, right? So this time around, we're talking about Spy X Family. All right, Spy X Family is a very popular anime. I finally watched the entire season 1, season 2. All right, and ironically, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I mean, here's my thing: I don't think it's as good as people were hyping it up to be, but I don't think it's as bad either. Right, so I really do think it's a solid anime. I would kind of gear towards more on the upper echelon side, like, all right, more on the positive than the negative. But I definitely feel like this anime is definitely like overhyped to a certain degree. All right. But nah, I made a couple topics on the show, so we just gonna jump right into it. All right. The first one, and my overall impressions of it, Spy X Family is essentially a poor man's Love is War. All right. So if you've been watching enough anime, you've definitely heard the name Love is War. Love is War is a very popular romantic comedy anime, and it blew me away. Like, hands down, I love romance anime, romantic comedies. Love is War hits all the check boxes for me. Do I think Love is War is in the Raptors? No, but that has been like the only anime minus like what's the other one? I forgot. It's like Hero something that like that's come along in a long time, because you know animes come and go, and really caught my attention. I was like, yo, this is a really, like, I don't know the best way to describe it. It's there. Love is War is top notch. Like, you'll probably never hear a bad review from me. Like, Love is War genuinely captured my interest with the romantic comedy aspect. Spy X Family isn't that. Spy X Family feels like a lesser grade of Love is War, but Spy X Family isn't really competing for that realm, to its own credit. So, I mean, just keep that tidbit in there, right? So, the thing that I find kind of, I don't say cringy about like Spy X Family, but like they try to be a slice of life to a certain degree, where it's like certain moments, they're highlighting the mission. So it's still all around the compass of a mission, right? Which is all good and dandy, but the elements that do kind of feel slice of life feel kind of like lacking, if that makes sense. Whereas like they're trying that quote unquote what I call anime humor, right? So, you know, the anime jokes, the anime tropes that people have kind of grown to love, Spy X Family tries to do that during like the slice of life moments. And the slice of life moments tend to be around like Anya at school, maybe like some, you know, what do you call it, miscellaneous like outings to walk the dog or something like that. So they try to do that. I just don't feel like they're not, that's not their bag. All right. So Spy X Family tries to do that, but I feel like they need to get out of that bag. Like Love is War got it. Love is War got that down. Where I feel like Spy X Family kind of stands out is unique genre of action and slice of life. Right. So, and I mean, I'm going to talk about that more. Like Spy X Family, I feel like they should be highlighting more of their action. But of course, there's the other element too of like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing. If, you know, watch American shows, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that thing was popular with, I think Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. I remember back in his while I watched that movie, it really like hit to me, right? So, they kind of go that route. I feel like a lot of the show's inspiration kind of come from like, I won't say like American culture, but like James Bond kind of stuff, even Bond man. Like, so it's cool. I feel like they should kind of focus more on that realm, right? Do not focus more on the slice of life. Maybe the manga is different. Also, I didn't mean to, I forgot to highlight this. Again, all my videos, reviews are solely about the anime. There is a chance maybe I've read like a manga here and there, right? But like, all my reviews are strictly about the anime, watching it for the first time, you know, and just giving my general impressions. So keep in mind you probably will get spoiled. All right, so don't come here complaining that you got spoiled. Like, if you're watching this, it's because you want to get spoiled. You want the tea. All right, that's my pinky. The tea. You want the tea. All right. But yeah, Love is War is better. Like, point blank. All right. If you don't agree, fight me. All right, saying now. But yes, Love is War is better for the genre that is in. The only play I can give Spy X Family is that genre, Spy X Family isn't strictly just that genre. Even though a lot of their elements come from the slice of life, it's more of a mix of action. So that kind of makes it stand out differently from Love is War. So it's like, hey, like, what do you call it? You don't have to compete. Cause I'm telling you, if they had to compete, Love is War wipe the floor with Spy X Family when it comes to humor. It would. Like, but don't fight something that's not your weight. If it's not your weight class, don't go up in there. All right. I feel like Spy X Family was trying to go up in there. Love is War, you don't want to go in that weight class. Love is War will wipe the floor with you. But Spy X Family has its own little weight class, and I think it's doing well in this weight class. And I do think it's a good show. All right. I, again, feel like they need to highlight more of the action scenes, but Spy X Family is his own show, and it's good where it's at. But overall, just me watching it, that's the immediate thing that comes to my mind. It's like, Love is War, and it's better. So, just my general impression of that. But let me see what else I got on this topic. All right. I mean, and the last thing I got on the topic is pretty much like season 1. I want to say season 1. Like, when you first initially watch it, it feels like a lot of the episodes are kind of emphasizing how dumb Anya is, which is funny. I think, and that's the thing too. Like, the funniest scenes for me were the Anya scenes. So that kind of added to the comedic aspect of it. But the thing that makes Spy X Family truly stand out is that they're, and it's not like a lot. It's like these little things that they do that really make it like stand out, which I see why it's as popular as it is, right? Like the fact that Spy X Family doesn't seem like a strictly Japanese based anime, right? Even calling it like the West and the East Coast, West Coast beef, right? Like, into like the James Bond themes. If you familiar with American, James Bond was like a famous agent spy. And like the way he dresses, the names of the characters, it definitely doesn't feel strictly Japanese based, which is refreshing. It feels like the show was kind of garnered through like other cultural ideas. And I think that's what makes it stand out compared to other animes in like a particular niche genre. I wouldn't even say Spy X Family is in a niche genre, but compared to like, again, we're all competing, right? I'm competing. I'm trying to get my views and everything up. So everybody's competing in one way, shape, or another, right? So Spy X Family is competing. The thing that's helping it in the battlefield, in the arena of anime, is these little things that it does to stand out. Hence, AKA not just strictly being based around Japanese culture, right? A lot of inspiration from other cultures, and the fact that it kind of mixes a really good dose of action with slice of life, which you don't see as often, like a core base. You might see like certain animes like Bleach or what have you that have like maybe an episode or two of like peaceful slice of life moments, but then the rest of it is just straight action, right? But no, Spy X Family does a really good job of constantly blending the two. Like, essentially the mission is a slice of life type of thing. So I think that is what makes it stand out. Unfortunately, it's not Love is War. So I really do need Spy X Family to focus more on that action. All right. But I mean, that's the thing on that. We're going to move on to the next main topic of Spy X Family. So here we go. All right. It kind of rolls into the next topic, which is Spy X Family's action. All right. And here's my thing. It kind of reminds me of like the Jujutsu Kaisen complex, where it's like Jujutsu Kaisen to me is mid as hell, right? The only thing it really excels at, and this is just the anime, right? The only thing it really excels at is action. I don't think I've ever seen an anime that has superior action as Jujutsu Kaisen. But Spy X Family has really good action. I don't think that's saying much, because I feel like anime nowadays, back in the days, action wasn't as emphasized, and I feel like there were like limitations to like the 90s anime, even 80s anime, like action scenes. It was very like telegraphed. But I mean, back then, that's all I knew. So it was great, right? So I feel like anime action now is it's more like, I don't know, optimized. So it's kind of hard to go wrong when you see some of these anime like Mob 100 and all these animes that like the action scenes are just like top tier, right? Like it's hard to do. There are some animes that do a really bad job, like Tokyo Revengers. The action scenes are just bad, right? But, you know, straying away from that, Spy X Family action is very, very good. It's like, if I had to give it like 10 being the best, 1 being disgusting, I would say Spy X Family action is probably like, maybe like an 8.5. Yeah, like it's definitely up there. And here's the thing that I love about it compared to other anime, probably even like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like a lot of anime have to focus on special abilities. Granted, my show focuses on special abilities too, right? But to kind of emphasize the action. Spy X Family, there's no like special powers minus Anya's powers, right? Like telepathy or whatever. But it's rare to find anime that can emphasize really good action without having to overemphasize like energies and throwing powers and all these extreme things, even like solo leveling, like extreme abilities, right? Spy X Family utilizes really good action without the overemphasis of like all these crazy abilities. It's just standard James Bond like action, like you just straight skills, reflexes, flipping, all that stuff. Like, and it does really, really, really well. The issue is, I feel like Spy X Family doesn't emphasize this action enough. The only thing that I won't say the only, like, Spy X Family is more well-rounded than Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like it just overly excels in action and it's kind of mid everywhere. Spy X Family excels in action, but I think also, I don't want to say excels, but it's pretty above average when it comes to storytelling. I don't think it's the most amazing story, but it's a fair enough story, right? And even like the slice of life moments, it's above average. The only thing I don't like about Spy X Family is that I feel like the slice of life moments, which is why I was like, yo, like just don't even go in that realm. Granted, I know you have to have those moments. A lot of the story is centered around it, but it's very like, I found myself kind of like dozing off, kind of sleeping when they're not fighting, which kind of reminds me of Jujutsu Kaisen again. But there are some moments that were slice of life that did catch my attention and I wasn't like drowsy or whatever. But I really wish Spy X Family focused more on action. And then to its credit, right? And I'm going to talk about this later, but I feel like a lot of the episodes were like filler, right? So the argument here is that there is a lot more action in Spy X Family, but because they're kind of based off of the manga, I'm hoping like they're trying to follow the manga to the T, that like they just don't have enough content to put out. So they're putting out these slice of life moments because Spy X Family genre, it really is a certain sector of slice of life. But when the action scenes were on like that, it catches your attention. I'm telling you, Spy X Family action, like even down to the tennis scene with him and Nightfall, that shit was fire. That shit was fire. Like even like if you had to compare the two main action scenes, right? It was I think Yuri, like his pretend wife and the assassins on the boat. So there's that. And then the tennis scene. I think the tennis scene was by far like the best series of episodes action that I've seen in a really long time. And granted, like the assassin scene where Yuri, like, yeah, that was good too. But I feel like that I feel like it was generic. I feel like I've seen stuff like that before. I don't think it was anything crazy in terms of a character that has special abilities. And when I say special abilities, the character is like somewhat OP and she's on a mission to protect somebody, kind of shows off her skills. I feel like I've seen that. But the tennis one, that I really wanted more episodes like the Spy X Family tennis scene with Lloyd and Nightfall, with Twilight and Nightfall. That shit was fire. Fire. I want more action scenes like that. That was fire. So I can see why Spy X Family is so popular. That was so fire. I love that scene. And I'm not gonna lie, Nightfall is like probably one of my favorite characters. I really do love Nightfall. But me just saying that I wish Spy X Family had more action. But it's probably by unfortunate like design because it's probably trying to meet the criteria of the manga. And if the manga isn't like up to date, you know, like there's only so much they can do, Or maybe the manga is up to date, because again, I didn't read the manga, and they were only licensed for a certain number of episodes that they gotta try to cram whatever they can in. But I definitely think the manga just didn't have enough, because it felt like a lot of fillers, and they were doing like double episodes, like double stories per episode. I'm gonna talk about that more. That shit was annoying. But no, so it makes me feel like, and here's the thing, I don't think they want to go like the Game of Thrones route, right? Everybody, if you watch content, like Game of Thrones is very popular, so if you watch Game of Thrones, you know what happened, where they deviated from the book and everybody was mad. At a certain point in Game of Thrones, they deviated from the book. Same thing with Fullmetal Alchemist. At a certain point, they deviated from the story and people got upset. Fullmetal Alchemist is slightly different because they did it successfully. That's the power of really good storytelling. Really good storytelling. That's the power of really good storytelling. But to the point that like I think Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood was more focused on the manga versus just Fullmetal Alchemist without the Brotherhood, right? Word was more like them kind of making it up because they were so far ahead of the manga and people wanted that content that they didn't want to wait. So I think that's the realm that Spy X Family is probably in. But I really do really enjoy the action scenes. I feel like the action scenes are really underrated. And if Spy X Family can give me more of those action scenes versus the slice of life, I would probably rate it a lot more high. I mean, regardless of how I feel, it's a popular anime, so it's doing well. It's doing well. You don't need my bam stamp of approval, right? But I really do wish they had more action scenes, because the slice of life, unless it's Anya, right? Like I feel like that's the only thing that really held the slice of life part up. Anya is the MVP. Ironically enough, Anya isn't my favorite character, but Anya is the MVP of that show because her episodes that are slice of life do really well. I think it really captures your attention, captures my attention. But all the other episodes that were like slice of life that doesn't involve Anya weren't that good. And like I said, the only thing I could think about is like, yeah, I think they're trying to be like Love is War in these moments, but like Love is War is better minus the Anya scenes. The Anya scenes can compete with the Love is War anime. But if you take out the scenes with Anya, you put all the other scenarios of just like slice of life romance, even what's called Twilight's partner, it's not entertaining. It's not like, bro, you don't get girls. Get out of here. Like, it's just not entertaining. So I really wish they focused more on the action, but Spy X Family, I think the thing that really, again, makes it stand out compared to other anime, which is why I get why it's so popular. The action scenes are really good, and it's above average in everything else. Versus Jujutsu Kaisen, really action is like superb, which just kind of gives you an idea of like people's different power levels, if that makes sense, right? Jujutsu Kaisen action scenes is top tier, but it's kind of mid in everything else. And I forgot, it was this one quote that I heard from like this CrossFit player or like somebody like in real life where it was like, if you're competing in the Olympics or all those other things, you don't have to be exceptionally good in everything, right? So that's a misconception, which I thought was really insightful. The Olympian, whatever guy said, was like, you don't have to be amazing in everything. You just have to be above average in everything in order to compete in the Olympics. So it's just like, hey, like there might be things that you're not as good at, but you can't be bad in anything if you really want to compete. So I think that's what Spy X Family is. Spy X Family doesn't do anything bad. Spy X Family is pretty much above average stat-wise across the board, and is slightly above average with action. Jujutsu Kaisen is above, action is through the roof, but is mid with everything else. So I think you want to be in the realm of Spy X Family, whereas like you may not be amazing across the board, like stats are just through the roof, but at least you want to be above average in everything to really stand out in order to really compete. So I think that should be the goal for most anime. You know, it's hard to do, but you know, it's definitely achievable. All right. Spy X Family anime versus the manga. Right. So I feel like there's a clear difference with the anime versus the manga. Again, I've never read the manga. It's just easy for me to tell that like, I'm pretty sure there's more content in the manga. If you ever, I want to say if you're an anime connoisseur, if you're just a Japanese, you know, manga, the whole culture, if you're a connoisseur of it, then you know there's a vast difference with the mangas versus the anime. But it's gonna be like that with most things in life, you know. If you really want the good stuff, that's what I had to do with Berserk, right? I loved Berserk so much. And you could, like, Berserk now is different. So they made a lot of extra episodes to highlight what happened after the whole massacre, right? But back in my day, I'm showing my age, back in my day, they left me in a really bad place. They did me dirty. They did me dirty, right? Berserk anime back in the day ended at that massacre, and that was it. That was it. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What's gonna happen to Guts? No, right? I was so unsatisfied. I had to go to the source material, meaning the manga, all right? And once I started reading the manga, I was satisfied as a human being, all right? So that's what's gonna happen if you're a connoisseur of this kind of stuff, this kind of culture. Like if you read the manga, you're better off, like, you're gonna get the real story versus watching the anime. A lot of times the anime is going to be the watered down version, right? Which is why I'm kind of curious to see how Solo Leveling turns out, because, you know, I'm watching anime, I'm liking it so far. But let's say I feel unsatisfied, I feel like there's not enough that I'm not getting, I'm probably going to want to read, you know, the actual manhwa of Solo Leveling. But it's the same way with, like, a lot of things. Game of Thrones, if you want the real story, you're better off just reading the book versus watching the show. But I think that just says something about the show, that if the show is just that good, what does that say about the book? The book is probably even 10 times better. So just kind of a tip for you guys. Like, if you want really good content, you're always better off reading. Reading is power, right? But the reading version of these shows are always going to be better than the anime version or the actual TV show version. If there are some TV shows that are better than the book, please let me know. I would love to find out, because most times that's not the case. But Spy X Family, right? We're talking about Spy X Family. I think the anime version and the manga version are drastically different. And it's very different because of the episodes, right? And this is the thing I was going to talk about more. The split episodes, right? This is me saying split episodes, right? I hate it. I hate it. Like, it's basically, I'm just calling it what it is. Maybe it's not that. Maybe these are actual stories in the manga, but, like, it basically felt like filler episodes, right? And I mean, I get it. Naruto had his filler episodes. Whatchamacallit, Bleach has his filler episodes. One Piece definitely got filler episodes, right? But, like, I hate filler episodes. I'm the kind of person that, like, I need to watch everything, because I need to have the bragging rights to say, hey, I watched it in its entirety so I could talk my shit, right? But I can't stand filler episodes. I remember this one time I was watching Bleach, and literally before the new season began, it gave, like, this dumbass disclaimer, like, keep in mind, everything you're about to see has nothing to do with the main story, and it's a fictional work of art. I'm like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching these stories that mean nothing to the main story? I want to know the main story. And here's the thing, if I'm going to watch it anyway, at least be good. Spy X Family's, like, side filler episodes are not good. Like, and the only way it could be good is if certain characters are in it, aka Nightfall episodes are really good, aka Anya episodes are really good. So if it's a filler episode, like a filler side story about Anya, a filler side story about Nightfall, those are really good. Very, very good. But if it's not about those two, your side episodes are boring. I kind of know what to expect. Twilight's side episodes are also boring. I know what to expect. His partner's side episodes are like, don't get girls. I know what to expect. Like, it's just not entertaining. Even the dogs, Bond the man or whatever, side episodes aren't that good, right? So there's only two characters. They're going to be filler episodes. They tend to be very good. I just couldn't stand it. And you could tell, in my opinion, like, they were kind of dragging it. I think one time they put in 3. And I was like, what? Like, it was 3 short stories in one 23-minute episode, 25-minute episode. I'm like, bro, like, and that tells me, in my opinion, like, they were, like, pulling for content. All right. So, like, I'm not a fan of the split episodes. To me, that's why I was like, in those moments, I'm like, yo, like, and maybe it's not by design that they're trying to compete with Love is War, but like, yo, this ain't it. I need more of I need more of that tennis scene. I need more of that action. All right. And if you guys are going to do slice of life, you guys need to do better with Twilight and Yuri's episodes. Cause, like, pretty much Anya's episodes, hands down, the side story, pulling up the team. You talking about like the LeBron of the team where you see that dude is like, yo, watch out for him. We gotta take him out. He's nasty. That's Anya. Anya in Spy X Family is pretty much the LeBron James of the filler episodes, the short stories. If it ain't Anya, I ain't watching. And a close second, what it was like back in the day, like LeBron and Kyrie, you know. Close second, Nightfall is Kyrie. Right? So Anya is LeBron, and then Nightfall is Kyrie. But if those two are in it, I'm watching. It got my attention. It's never boring. Very entertaining. It could compete with probably the best of the best anime. But if Anya's not in the episode, and I mean to a larger capacity, because yeah, sometimes the episode might be about Yuri or Twilight, but Anya might have a cameo here or there. No, I'm not talking about that. I don't want to watch that. All right? Had me dozing off. All right? Like, I don't want to watch that. And then the same thing with like Nightfall. And here's the thing, I feel like Nightfall was such a rare character, but her scenes were so entertaining. I think it's because of her character type. Her character type is so entertaining. Like, she always has a straight face, but she's such a girly girl in her mind. Like, they're so fire. And unless it's Nightfall, where it's like, yeah, I'm watching. It got my attention. It's entertaining. If it's not those two, I don't want to watch those moments. I really don't. The only episodes that like do well, if it's any character, are the action scenes. And that's my argument, that I feel like the anime is pulling from the manga, meaning like there's not enough content in the manga, and people really wanted a season 2 of Spy X Family, most likely, like, or, you know, like contracts like, hey, like you need to have this season done by a certain day, or, you know, you got licensed for this, it needs to start by this time. Like, I'm not sure how these contracts work, but yeah, it felt rushed. It felt like this isn't what I wanted. There might be some core Spy X Family people out there that like eat it up, right? They eat it up. I wasn't that. I was like, yo, I want to see more main. You can tell the shows that were like the episodes that were main stories because it lasted for multiple episodes. Like the assassin, Yuri protecting the person from assassins. That I could clearly tell that was from the manga. Same thing with the Nightfall episodes. Like I'm pretty sure that was from the manga as well. Or like the dog bombs. Like you could tell that was from the manga. But the other stuff you could tell it wasn't from the manga. So, you know, and I keep saying love is war, but put it like this. Let's say you watched Spy X Family and you really loved the slice of life, romantic comedy scenes of it. I promise you, if you want something similar, if not better, just watch Love is War. Love is War is a romantic comedy anime that will capture your interest hands down. If you love the slice of life stuff in Spy X Family, you're going to love Love is War. Love is War is phenomenal romantic comedy. And I've seen some older, like that's the only romantic comedy that's come in a while that was very, very good. So, but yeah, I season 3, you know, Spy X Family season 3 is coming because that man Twilight got to finish his mission. Whatchamacallit. I'm hoping it's less fillers, and people gotta wait. I mean, here's where I fall into line, right? If people gotta wait for actual content, then I'd rather just wait. I'd rather wait than rush it. I'd rather wait for more quality Spy X Family episodes because I hated that splitting of the episode thing. Nah, that's not. I don't want to watch it, right? Or just make a completely separate. I think they do that with some animes too. Make a completely separate series that the writers get the blessings of the person who actually created Spy X Family to be able to do this, and just make a whole separate like short series, maybe 12 episodes or whatever, of Spy X Family, maybe Spy X Family the Lloyd story or Spy X Family the Yuri story. Get the blessings of the creator, and then you can make a whole season just full of episodes, and people will be satisfied because if they're core fans, they want to watch anything that's Spy X Family, so they'll watch it. But in terms of like saying Spy X Family season 2, nah, that wasn't it. It wasn't it. It was too much fillers, right? Not enough core content, too much fillers. But that's my take on that.
早晩命を落とす生き方でも私は戦うことをやめない
So the last topic we're covering is pretty much out of all the characters, Yuri, I think Twilight's pretend wife is like the weakest link. She's not the best character, all right? And then here's my thing, right? this is one thing I find, like, between Yuri and Twilight or Lloyd or whatever, right? How good of a spy can he really be if he doesn't even know his wife is an assassin? Like just take that into account, right? Because he's supposed to be like one of the greatest spies ever, but he can't tell that so-and-so is an assassin, whatever, right? But pretty much, that's just my whole little tidbit. But pretty much, Yuri is one of the strongest characters in the show. Like, freakish strength. Like, she's one of those, what I will call it, like the typical anime archetype characters. The characters who are super modest, doesn't know their own strength, but like are super good, right? Out of all the characters, Yuri's probably the most boring, most predictable one out the group. And then there might be some hardcore Yuri fans that's like, you don't know what you're talking about, Yuri's the best character. Hear me out. If you watch enough anime, you've seen all the anime character types. Yuri is at the bottom of the totem pole, right? She really is, unfortunately. Like, I think Anya is a better, more interesting character than Yuri. I think her brother is a more interesting character than her sister. I think Nightfall is a more interesting character than Yuri. There's a lot of characters that are more interesting than Yuri. That's why Yuri is at the bottom of the totem pole. And then honestly, I'm not even gonna say the top, but like Twilight/Lloyd, like, he's pretty high up there. Lloyd's character is very, very unique. The best way I could describe it is he reminds me of Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho, the guy with the leaves or like the plant ability or slash wolf. If you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, you know what I'm talking about. His personality or character archetype reminds me of Kurama/Erwin from Attack on Titans, whereas like they don't claim to know it all. Minus Erwin. Erwin at times, he definitely make it seem like this man can see the future, but he can't. He's just that analytical. He's just that good. But he's not over analytical like, I don't know, Light Yagami from Death Note, right? Like Light Yagami is a different level of analytical. Or the dude from, what's that show? Where he could also kind of like see the future. I forgot. If it comes to me, I'll say it, right? But there are certain characters that are like on different levels, right? So Light Yagami was on a completely different level where this dude just knew everything. Granted, because of the Death Note, but like he was so intelligent that like it seems kind of like ridiculous. All right, this isn't entertaining. This guy is gonna catch everything. This guy knows everything. It took like 2 seasons to actually like pretty much. I think Light Yagami pretty much beat everybody. Right, it was like the tail end that I think they needed to create like a modest ending, but there's that level. Lloyd or Twilight isn't on that level, but I think that's good. I think that's refreshing. I mean, for me, I can't speak for you, but I'm not really a fan of characters who are just good at everything. They know everything. Like, it's a bit boring. But Lloyd isn't like that. Twilight isn't like that, which is refreshing because it's like, yeah, he's good at a lot of things, but there's a lot of things that he doesn't know, or there's a lot of things that he just like can't like foretell. And it's refreshing and it feels very like great to watch. All right, like he's going to be good at a lot of things and he can solve like a lot of problems, but there's going to be some problems that he cannot solve, right? But it's going to be the same thing with Erwin. Erwin was kind of like that in Attack on Titans, where he had pretty good plans for everything, but not all his plans worked out. As you can see if you watch Attack on Titans, all his plans did not work out. All right, so Erwin was another one. Yo, my man Erwin over Armin all day. Should have saved Erwin. If they saved Erwin over Armin, the massacre that happened would have happened. I'm telling you, promise you. Put it on my mama, all right? Promise you, right? Don't put it on my mama. Keep my mama out. All right, I'm just talking. But and then Kurama in Yu Yu Hakusho, he felt like another type of character where it was like everything he did always worked out. He didn't know everything, but the guy was so smooth that, put it like this, there was never really a moment that he looked hideously bad. Even when things went bad, he was still kind of up straight, like, yeah, like it was bad, but I still made it out pretty okay. Like he's still kind of like smooth, right? So that's pretty much Twilight's character. He's in my opinion, he's like in a unique realm of character archetypes that is very rare to see. Because there's not a lot of characters that are like that. It's either the character is super good at everything, again, being the epitome note is like Yagami, and then there are characters who nothing can go right, which doesn't quite make for many entertaining, like Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers, right? So it's usually those extreme character archetypes where it's like, this guy is really bad and is good at nothing, right? That's Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers. And then there's the guy who's good at everything, can predict everything, never has a bad moment, Light Yagami. Those are the different character archetypes. Most main characters fall into either of those groups, right? And maybe like a little bit lower, a little bit less, but what you call it, Twilight is kind of right, I won't say in the middle, but he's slightly above the middle. So he's kind of in the realm where it's like he kind of knows all the right things to do, but definitely gets things wrong from time to time, all right? And that's all for me to say that Yuri is trash. That's all I'm trying to say. Out of the hierarchy of characters, right? Who will be number one? In terms of like most interesting characters, I'll probably say Nightfall, but to be honest. Nightfall, then Anya, then Twilight, then everybody else. And Yuri's at the bottom. That's the hierarchy. I don't make up the hierarchy. That's what they did. If you disagree, you can feel free to comment, but Yuri's at the bottom. It's great that she's super strong. I've just seen that from other characters. All right. She's not competing with Satana from One Punch Man. She's not competing with Ghost. Like just a bunch of characters that like it's not entertaining anymore. Like she just can't compete. And again, why put yourself in a realm that you can't compete? What was it, the girl with the purple hair from Maggie? Like there's certain characters that are so strong that you just can't compete. Right. But yeah. And then my last kind of topics I said, but Spy X Family. I can see why it's a good show. At first, part of me was like, all right, I'm probably going to show the show because some of the boring moments in Slice of Life was really boring. But in its defense, I feel like it was trying to keep up with the manga. So the creator, like whoever was doing the production for the anime, was trying their best to like still give content, right? So compared to other anime, I would give Spy X Family. The only thing that I didn't like about Spy X Family that I wish more, like I didn't know was that kind of anime, that it felt more like there's a story, but the story really isn't like the central theme of it. Meaning like, you know how like in Bleach, there's a central theme of like, you know, saving, I'm butchering her name, Rukia at first, and you know, Naruto trying to save Sasuke. Like there's core stories, even fucking Jabba's reincarnation, at some point they had a semblance of a story. And then everything was kind of geared towards the story. Spy X Family, there's kind of a story, but the story is to get closer to the guy who, you know, his son goes to the school. So it's not really a story. It's kind of like, yeah, it's a story, but still like a slice of life. Like they can make mad content until that actually happens, essentially. So I wish there was more of like a story that had more pressure. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. A story that had more attention, like, hey, like more relevant episodes to the mission. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. It feels like there's not enough episodes that are really, really relevant to the mission. There's a lot of episodes that kind of relate to the mission, but doesn't directly impact the mission. I wish there were more episodes that directly impacted the mission, but I think that's by design. It's by design because again, I think they're trying to be action slash, you know, slice of life. But pretty much, if I had to grade Spy X Family, I would probably give it like a B plus, maybe A minus, but definitely B plus. This is definitely one of the better animes that I've seen in a while. I think Solo Leveling is better so far, just hands down. I have to be honest. What else is better so far? Like Hell's Paradise is better than Spy X Family so far. Because Spy X Family, the same thing with Hell's Paradise, not finished. Hell's Paradise is probably like the best I've seen so far, minus Solo Leveling. I gotta see what they come up with. Same thing with Jabba's reincarnation, same thing with Vinland Saga. Do I think Spy X Family is better than Vinland Saga? No. No, but I think Spy X Family sits at a solid B plus for me, all right? If it focuses more on the action, probably like top tier, probably like an A, right? But it does really well in all other genres. Same thing with, I think Spy X Family is definitely better than Jujutsu Kaisen. That's my opinion. But yeah, so that's my take. It's your man MAS. More anime content to come. Again, if you enjoy my reviews, if you enjoy my content, definitely check out my own anime series, my own manga series called Citizen Evil. I'm gonna lift up the, hopefully you see it, the shirt. But descriptions in the website below. Please, if you like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. It's your man MAS. I'm out.